and konnichiwa, and welcome to Rick's Megazord Madness, presented by the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Bardkeep, and here's how it works, folks. In honor of Megazord Madness, I'm going to go ahead and do my own bracket, kind of like what people do with the NCAA bracket every March. They come up with their own picks and who they think's going to go ahead and win. Well, I'm going to do the same thing here with Megazord Madness. I have 5 sides of the bracket to do, which I have dubbed North, South, East, West, and Central. And I'm going to go over all these with you with the field of 80, tell you guys about the matchups, to where we will eventually get to my final 5, where I will, based on the rules of the tournament, find the 5 best Zords based on my opinions. And I want to emphasize that. These are my opinions. They will be based on things that I've seen in the television show, things from the toy line, and frankly, just overall personal preference. These are all my opinions. I know that the final 5 is going to be significantly different from what I pick, but I'm going to go through this with you guys anyway and just kind of tell you, hey, this is what I would pick, and I will give you my reasons why based on the criteria. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start with the West bracket. Now, for you all following at home, that's going to be on the bottom left side of the pentagon. I arbitrarily chose these names, so they won't actually match up with any cardinal direction. Nevertheless, this is going to be the West bracket. You can follow along on the Megazord Madness website, and I will be going top to bottom with these choices, and we're going to find out what the best Zord is in this field right here. The first matchup we have is RPM's Wolf Cruiser versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Tor the Shuttle Zord. Now, frankly, folks, this one is actually an easy one to go ahead and pick here. I'm going with Tor the Shuttle Zord all the way. And I'm going to tell you a little bit why. Basically, Tor the Shuttle Zord is just an awesome Zord. It's a giant mechanized turtle that can turn into its own robot. I went off about how awesome the Carrier Zords and Ultra Zords were in a previous video there, and I just don't see how the Wolf Cruiser is going to beat Tor the Shuttle Zord, whether it's in a battle or just a popularity contest. And frankly, that's kind of what this is a popularity contest. Wolf Cruiser is not very interesting. What does it do? It shoots a laser out of its nose. That's about it. If we were talking about its equivalent in Go-Onger, might have a different story, but frankly, this RPM Zord does not compare to this original Mighty Morphin Season 2 Zord. So for the first matchup, I picked Tor the Shuttle Zord. For our second match, we have the Lost Galaxy Zenith Carrier Zord versus the Samurai Claw Zord. You know, here's the thing. I was never really a big fan of the Zord sets of either of these shows. Lost Galaxy, I always felt that they were kind of bulky and lacked a lot of refinement. They kind of look like Zords from the 1980s. Whereas I do think in Super Samurai, a lot of the Zords are over-designed. I think they're too complicated, too complex, even in their transformations, where they're not appealing to the eye. That being said, if I had to choose between the two, I'm going to go with the Zenith Carrier Zord. Now, the reason I go with the Zenith Carrier Zord is, well, one, it's a Carrier Zord, and again, we've just established how much I like Carrier Zords. It houses both the Stratoforce and Centaurus Megazords. It can fly. It supposedly can be put through water. And the fact is, it is a living beast machine, which is much better than the Beast Machines cartoons that we got after Beast Wars ended. I just can't find a good reason to really pick the Claw Zord. Yeah, it's its own Megazord. Yeah, it's got 4 different modes. But, you know, it's just not as interesting. I just can't see myself saying that the Claw Zord is better than Zenith as far as we're talking about overall design and coolness. Not to mention, the Zenith Carrier Zord is just massive. It's obviously one of the largest Zords we've had out there. Obviously not as large as, say, Pyramias or Serpentera, but nevertheless, I do think Zenith Carrier Zord is just kind of overall better in my opinion here. So for this round, I pick the Zenith Carrier Zord. Alright, for the next matchup, we have the Dino Charge Terrazord versus the Mystic Force Bright Star. Kind of a hard matchup right here. I mean, first of all, the Terrazord is awesome, shoots lightning, it flies, turns into its own Megazord, so everything is pretty much good there. Bright Star, it's a unicorn Zord that transforms essentially into battle armor for our Red Ranger. He can ride atop of it, he can do a Centaur mode if he wants to. Didn't actually do it in the show, but it's available in the toy line. And again, you can change into armor for him, and is a great counterbalance to Catastros. Now, of course, the big issue of Bright Stars only appear for one episode is really downplayed. I think it was played more in Magi Ranger. And of course, the Terrazord is relatively new to Power Rangers, although I am familiar with it through Super Sentai. But I do feel the Terrazord, much like the Samurai Zords, is a little bit complicated its design, which is kind of odd given that the rest of the Zords from the Dino Charge line are pretty simplistic in their nature. This was the one that always kind of threw me off as a toy. I always had a little bit of difficulty just kind of getting it right. And frankly, it's just not as interesting to me. I don't find it as interesting as some of the other Zords in that line. It's kind of my least favorite of the major Zords in Dino Charge. But Bright Star, I think, was definitely underutilized. There's just something really cool about it. I really, I don't like horses, and I'm not big into unicorns and all that kind of stuff right there. But there's something about Bright Star is just really cool that I can't put my finger on. Maybe it is because the multiple modes that it has and transformations, and the fact that, again, it counters with Korag's Catastro. So it's, the dark horse and the light horse, good and evil, father and son. There is just something about it that's really awesome, and I like that. So this round, I'm going to go ahead and give to Mystic Forces Bright Star. In the next one, we have the RPM Whale Zord against the Dino Thunder Stegozord. Again, Dino Thunder was a Zord line I wasn't that particularly interested in, but the Stegozord was pretty cool. It always seemed like it was kind of an evil-looking Zord, and yes, I know the history behind it, but it never looked like it was a Zord that was on the side of the good guys for whatever reason. And of course, the overall aesthetics of Dino Thunder just weren't that appealing to me. Now, I know I kind of gone off on RPM in the past, but you know what? I will have to say that my favorite Megazord from RPM Go Onger is the Mach Megazord. It has flying capabilities. It may have a whale, a tiger, and a chicken, but it's a helicopter, a jet, and a jumbo jet, basically, which can also have its own jet mode where it can, go even faster, turn to a fireball, and as we have established in Power Rangers RPM, it can spout water out from the top. There's just something really cool about something aquatic that's in the sky, and the fact that it's an oxymoron. It's a whale that flies and everything. It's kind of odd, but it actually does remind me of the Fantasia 2000 sequence of the whales flying in the night sky. So I know you guys know I hate RPM, and I didn't pick the Wolf Carrier before or Wolf Cruiser before. But there's just something about that Whale Zord that's pretty cool. Even in Go Onger, I really liked it. It's one of my favorites in the RPM collection as far as the toy is concerned. I just really like it. So this round, I'm giving it to the RPM Whale Zord. Alright, next matchup is a little bit tricky. We have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ape Ninja Zord versus Turbo Artillotron. Ape Ninja Sword is pretty cool. A lot better than its movie counterpart. I like the fact that it has the double swords. It can go ahead and fight a monster on its own. It can destroy a monster on its own, as we saw, I believe, in the Sent-A-Back episode, or at least another Rocky-focused episode in the third season. And it's just, it's a giant ape with two swords. I mean, that is pretty cool in itself. But you know what, guys? I was a little too harsh on Artillotron in my previous video talking about Megazord Madness. I mean, it's a carrier Zord, as I stated before. It does have awesome artillery. It's freaking massive. I mean, the toy was huge. I mean, it was just, wow, it was so big. But you know what? I will also go ahead and admit Artillotron has probably one of the most awesome cockpits in all of the history of Power Rangers. It's got a nice comfy chair that spins around, it's carpeted floors, and it has monitors to all 5 of the rescue Zords in which the Phantom Ranger can communicate and monitor in. So I think based on the fact that its command center and cockpit is just really awesome, and the fact that I really was too harsh, there are a lot of good parts about Artillotron that I do like. I'm going to go ahead and have to pick this one in a minor upset over the Mighty Morphin Ape Ninja Zord. There are a lot of good Zords from the third season. Ape Ninja Zord is one of them, but again, I'm going to have to pick Artillotron in this round. Next, we have the Dino Charge Raptor Zord and the Ninja Storm Lion Zord. The Ninja Storm Zords, another line of Zords I was not particularly fond of. I never did own the toys. Maybe that has something to do with it. I always thought that the Ninja Storm Zords were very bulky and a little too big in some cases, and I thought this lion was its own worst enemy. Its mane is bigger than its body. It's just weird. It's an odd shape. But then we have the Dino Charge Zords, which, when they first came out, I thought, well, these kind of look like Lego Zords or something. They're very blocky, very angular, and all that. But the designs have grown on me throughout the series, and, through a combination of what I like going on Dino Charge and what I like going on Kyryuger, I really do like the Zords of this season. And I really think that the Raptor is significantly better than the Lion Zord, so I'm going to go ahead and give the Raptor Zord the edge up in this particular contest. Okay, the next one we have is Dino Charge Parazord versus the the Megaforce Lion Megazord. This one was a tough one because, here's the thing. The Megazord is pretty cool, especially when it turns into its Megazord form. I like the idea that the, Gosei Knight or Robo Knight is actually a living part of it. It detaches off, flies off for attacks. It's just pretty cool. And again, it's a lot better in the Sentai than it is in its American counterpart. But also with that, I do like the Parazord because I like the idea that it is different. It's a dinosaur that I don't think you would have thought would have been given to a Black Ranger. I mean, I think that's one of the weirder things that we got out of Kyryuger Dino Charge is that you give arguably the coolest ranger, the one who's always supposed to be the foil, we give him, an omnivore, a herbivore as his dinosaur instead of something really cool. But he's also got a giant gun on his tail, which is awesome itself, and it emerges out of a German castle in the middle of the night. So, while it may not be 100% objective, but I never claimed being 100% objective in this, I'm going to go ahead and give it to the Parazord in this particular round. I just think that it's pretty cool. I just can't see saying the Megazord is awesome over this dinosaur. I just can't see myself doing that, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. And now our final match out of the first round, we have the Wild Force Gorilla Zord versus the Mighty Morphin Dragon Zord. Okay, here's the thing. Gorilla Zord is awesome. It forms my favorite combination out of the Wild Zords, which is the Conga Zord Striker. That of course is the gorilla, the two bear brothers, the rhino, and the armadillo. And it has exploding bananas, so that's pretty awesome itself. But you know what? You can't beat the Dragon Zord. There's no way. There's no way you can say that the gorilla is better than the Dragon Zord. I don't see that. I mean, yeah, you can like the Gorilla Zord, but I think, come on, it rises out of the water. It looks like Godzilla with samurai armor. It has missiles on its fingertips. Has a drill tail, and it can form Dragon Zord in battle mode. I mean, that's awesome, and it's usually autonomous, only controlled slightly through the Green Ranger. So I love it. I don't know why anybody would pick the Gorilla over the Dragon Zord, but Dragon Zord in this round all the way. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move into round two. So our next matchup is between Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Tour the Show Zord and Lost Galaxy Zenith Carrier Zord. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick Tor in this matchup over Zenith Carrier Zord, simply because, again, it's a giant mechanized turtle, and it's a lot better than a giant mechanized shark and or whale. I'm not sure exactly what Zenith is. But again, I just like Tor in this particular matchup. When it comes to Carrier Zords, Zenith is usually towards the bottom of the list, I think, but I think Tor is really right up to the top. And again, I'm going to go ahead and pick Tor here. Alright, next is Mystic Force Bright Star against the RPM Whale Zord. I think in this particular matchup, I'm going to go ahead and go with Bright Star. I mean, again, I point out all the positives of both of them, but here's the thing. The Whale Zord is by itself. It doesn't have the other two Zords to combine with it. So when I have to go ahead and kind of limit it down, Bright Star in of itself is a cool horse. He doesn't have the Red Ranger, but again, he can also be ridden outside of battle, and I'm sure the unicorn is pretty dangerous. I mean, you've ever seen horses go stampeding, and it's got that horn. That's another thing I actually did not mention about Brightstar is it can revert to an actual horse, just like Catastros, and anybody can ride into battle course, we were first introduced with Bright Star with Solaris Knight. And if I recall correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Bright Star can travel through dimensions by itself without the need of the Solar Streak Megazord. So that also would give it a 1-up. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Bright Star in this matchup. Okay, next matchup is between Turbo's Artillotron and the Dino Charge Raptor. I'm going to go with Artillotron in this one. I just think he's more of a complete Zord because he does essentially have a Megazord formation. When he does stack up, he does have the cooler weapons. All the Raptor really has right here is its Tail Blade, which does have 3 strikes and can charge up. But I just think Artillotron is cooler in design, and again, that cool cockpit and everything else that comes with it. So Artillotron here. Dino Charge Parazord against Dragonzord. Again, I can't pick the Parazord over the Dragonzord in this match, so I think this one's going to be quite easy for me. It is the Dragonzord over the Parazord. Okay, now moving into the final 4 here, we have Tor versus Bright Star, and I'm going to go ahead and pick Tor over Bright Star. Yes, the mechanized turtle over the unicorn because, you know what, I like turtles more than I like unicorns. And despite the fact that, you know, Bright Star is effective both in small size and large size and can travel through dimensions, again, there's just something about a giant turtle who can withstand a giant Serpentera crushing him. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and pick Tor here. And between Artillotron and the Dragonzord, I'm going to go with the Dragonzord in this one because, again, it is the frickin' Dragonzord. Okay, so it comes down to the final matchup between Tor and the Dragonzord. Season 1 Mighty Morphin or Season 2 Mighty Morphin. Okay, so I've mentioned all the things about the Dragonzord. It's got, you know, all its cool weapons. It's iconic. It's got that roar. Even the Dragon Dagger is iconic, watching the Green Ranger on top of it. I mean, if there was an iconic Zord from the Power Rangers franchise other than the Megazord, it is the Dragonzord. It is them as a duel. It is the Batman Robin of that series. On the other hand, Tor, a little less known to a lot of people. A lot of people think it was a joke that, you know, the Ultrazord just smashed on things. We don't know if Tor is sentient or not. He obviously was in Die Ranger, completely different backstory. But you know what? I have to go with the Dragonzord. I'm sorry, guys. I know that makes me sound like a homer or somebody who just loves the first season of Mighty Morphin, but the Dragons are just one of those iconic Zords. You can't go wrong with it. So, you know, hey, for all those you disappointed in this round, I apologize, but the Dragonzord is the #1 choice here for me. For my West Bracket winner, I chose the Dragonzord as part of my Final 5. Join me next time, and we will go through the East Bracket and pick out the next Zord of my Final 5. And until then, the tavern is closed.